Once upon a time, in a secluded convent nestled deep within the countryside, there lived a group of devout nuns dedicated to their faith and their vows. Sister Mary, a young and innocent nun, had recently joined the order with great enthusiasm, seeking solace and purpose within the walls of the convent. Little did she know that her life was about to take a terrifying turn. As the sun set on a gloomy evening, a fierce storm brewed outside. The rain poured relentlessly, casting a shadow over the convent. The night grew darker, and the nuns gathered in the candlelit chapel for their evening prayers. Sister Mary, clad in her long black habit, knelt before the altar, her heart filled with devotion and a touch of unease. Suddenly, a bone-chilling wind swept through the chapel, extinguishing the candles and plunging the room into darkness. Whispers echoed in the shadows, and fear gripped the nuns' hearts. Sister Mary, trembling, raised her head, only to see a mysterious figure lurking in the far corner of the chapel. It was a nun, dressed in tattered robes, her face obscured by a ghostly white veil. Sister Mary's pulse quickened as she watched the figure move silently, gliding closer with each passing moment. Her footsteps made no sound, and an eerie presence filled the air. The other nuns, paralyzed with fear, huddled together, their eyes locked on the terrifying specter. But Sister Mary, despite her trembling body, found herself drawn to the mysterious nun. A mixture of curiosity and dread consumed her. As the ghostly figure reached the center of the chapel, it slowly lifted its veil, revealing a face etched with sorrow and despair. Sister Mary gasped in horror. The nun's eyes were empty voids, devoid of life, and her mouth opened wide, emitting an unnatural, haunting sound. The once serene chapel became a place of terror as the tormented nun unleashed her wrath upon the nuns. One by one, they fell victim to her malevolent presence. Some were driven to madness, their screams piercing the night, while others were found lifeless the next morning, their faces frozen in expressions of abject terror. Sister Mary, determined to uncover the truth behind the ghostly apparition, delved into the dark history of the convent. She discovered a hidden room deep within the catacombs, where the tormented nun had been imprisoned and tortured by her fellow sisters centuries ago. Driven by guilt and her own dwindling sanity, the nun had returned as a vengeful spirit, seeking retribution for the unspeakable horrors she had endured. Sister Mary realized that only by setting the nun's tormented soul free could the curse be lifted from the convent. Armed with holy water and a prayer book, Sister Mary descended into the depths of the catacombs, facing her deepest fears. The air grew heavy, and the walls seemed to close in on her as she neared the hidden chamber. Finally, she reached the door, and with a trembling hand, she opened it. The room was filled with a chilling silence, broken only by the agonized sobs of the tormented nun. Sister Mary stepped forward, reciting ancient prayers and splashing holy water across the room. As the prayers filled the air, the spirit began to wail, its form dissipating like smoke until it vanished completely. The convent returned to its peaceful state, and the curse was lifted at last. Sister Mary, forever changed by her encounter with the vengeful nun, emerged from the catacombs a different person. Her faith had been tested, but her resolve had grown stronger. She would forever carry the memory of the horror that unfolded within the convent's walls.